Well, here we go again. This time we are taking a different route, and we're actually doing something totally different than what we've been doing in the past. We are headed today to Ohio to a hay and forage training. So John Deere puts on trainings to make sure that their personnel at the dealership levels are up to snuff. In this case, this is an ops and adjust class. So myself and our large ag specialist, we're going to go to this ops and adjust class so that we can make sure that we understand the equipment, know how to run said equipment, and then just know the basics of operations and adjustment. So the reason Austin and I are going is because in our department, a couple of us are CDIs, or certified dealer instructors. What certified dealer instructor means is that you can place people within the dealership and train them, and as long as they have they go through the course and it's approved by John Deere, and you show competency by passing a pretty much test of 95% or higher score, then you can be approved to redeliver it to your personnel in the dealership. So like for us, we're going to go to this ops and adjust class, and then once we pass it, we will be able to reteach this exact course to our salesmen and other people within the dealership. So buckle in, let's go for a ride. Well, it is now the next day. We made it down to Ohio. It was a 10-hour drive-ish. So this is Austin, by the way, if you haven't ever seen him before. Made it down last night. Didn't really get into too much shenanigans last night because really was nothing to do at 8 o'clock at night when we got here. You probably could have found something, but meh. So we're on our way to the training event now, a couple miles down the road, and we'll see what mischief we can get in over there. The wind took away the voiceover on this piece, so you get to hear it from me at a later date. So what we're looking at here is our MOCOs, or our mower conditioners, that John Deere has to offer. A couple things that we want to point out on here that they pointed out to us at the clinic were the different pieces that we have to it as far as parts, different things that we have to set up to make these things run efficiently, such as like how much tension we want to put on the ground, conditions of the knives, and the conditions of the impeller. When we look at these MOCOs, biggest thing that we're calling out is how these things work. We don't want to be chopping this up fine like an overglorified lawnmower. What we want to be doing is we want to be creating a vacuum with the knives and the drums that we have underneath that MOCO, and we're going to pull that grass or alfalfa straight up with that vacuum so that we can cut it in a long stem so that we can go back and use it for a forage later. After we pass this over the knives and the turtles, we're going to send it back to some sort of an impeller or a roll or a crimper. The work of a crimper is to break that stem. If we can break or crimp the stem, crack it so that moisture allows to escape, that's going to make the drying process easier for us if we're trying to make dry hay, or even if we're trying to cut hay in a reasonable amount of time. On that particular model, that had an impeller on it, and it's one of the newer not even really technology, but it's one of the newer features that we're starting to see more common on these MOCOs. The other main focus while we were there were round balers, so we spent a lot of time talking about the 1 series balers and the V series round balers. Went through how these things work, different operations and adjustments that are involved with these ones to make sure that they run smoothly when the customer either purchases it or when we're going out to take it to demo. The other thing that we really talked about when we're comparing round balers and our MOCOs to the competition is we talked about reasons why we have differences than what our competition is producing as far as the features that our round balers and our MOCOs have, and why some customers like the products that we have, and why some customers are also going towards other competitive products. We're being realists when we're going to these trainings, and we're talking about the differences between the units and the brands, so that when we do come up against something competitive, we know what we're up against, and we can give you a pitch of why we think our product is a little bit better and why we think someone would enjoy it. After the classroom and the walk-around sessions, it's time to hit the field. So talking a little bit about round balers, things have changed quite a bit in the last few years. So you can see the granddaddy monitor of them all was you could see your left side and your right side and how large that bale was forming. Essentially, you want both those needles to fill up correct, and it would tell you if that bale is have the correct shape. As time went on, they came out with better bale track monitors, so second generation, third generation of it, and this became more of not just monitoring but controlling as well. When you want to apply wrap or twine, how things are going, here are your size bars of which side is fuller, which side is more empty, and then gave you alerts with it as well, and the ability to control the baler a little bit more. So that technology is still there, but instead of focusing in on the older monitors, they switched everything over to this new G5E, which I don't think is powered up, but essentially they're taking it, shoving it all into the monitor, which we saw yesterday. Feeding becomes really important on these things. If you constantly drive in one spot, you don't necessarily have a correct shaped bale. Like if you fill on this side more than you have this side is going to be larger than this side. So that's why the bale monitoring becomes very important as far as size and shape. But as it gets in here, you've got a belt delivery system either on this guy, same as you can see on the top over here, and those belts just help feed once it gets through the auger, the knife bank if you have it, to help chop some of that residue a little bit finer. And then we just roll it around, kind of like a tumble dryer. We just tumble it around until we make that bale bigger and bigger and bigger. The belts help keep that thing turning and help keep it tensioned as well, so that we have a good solid packed bale. When you're building a bale, you want something that's dense and tight. You don't want something that's going to be loose as a goose, hard to wrap, hard to store. The tighter we have it, the less spoilage we'll have, the easier it is to shed water, and the nicer it looks. Every farmer out there is going to enjoy having a tighter baler, a good looking bale. Now, well, we're all done for the day, all done for the week. Actually, it's about 9 o'clock. We just rolled through Chicago. Austin and I on our way back to Wisconsin. Overall, I'd say pretty good training. Again, it was very targeted to customers, or I guess not customers, but sales personnel, mechanics, integrated solutions people, the basics of mowing and baling. So we got to look over the product, talk about those sales points, got to run the machines a little bit, and even when we got wrapped up today, we could have kept running it, but Austin and I had a 10-hour drive home, so we decided to hit the road tonight and see how far we get. But overall, I would say it was definitely worth going. We got some good info, especially on that V-Series baler. We don't see a lot of that, well, really anywhere, I guess, in Wisconsin. It just hasn't had a high take rate. It sounds like that one's been big in like Texas, Oklahoma, and then other parts of the country too. So it's getting more and more traction. We were pretty excited to watch it. It's a pretty impressive little unit. So probably be dabbling at it at some point in the future, but time will tell. We're only going to get one if someone actually wants it. So that new display really is going to be a game changer for us in our industry. Makes things running that thing a lot simpler. So thank you for checking us out. Thank you for watching. We will see you on the next one.